Good afternoon, gladiators. We who are about to play salute you. Alright, hey everybody. I got a new video intro. What do you think? I did that during the week and put it together, and I thought, it'll just add a little bit of, professionalism of sorts, and just a little bit of excitement and entertainment to the channel. So let me know what you think of that in the comments. It's been about a week since my last video. I apologize for that. I've been a bit under the weather. Unfortunately, everyone in the family's been a bit sick. It's winter here in Sydney, Australia, and everyone's got a bit of a cold. But that will not stop us today, because today we are playing Swords and Sandals V. Yeah, that's right. We're back on one of my games. Swords and Sandals V from this year, in fact. Although this is the Redux version. The original came out many years ago, and we're going to talk a bit about the old game and the new game and the differences while we play. So we might as well get started, I feel like. Get into this adventure. Swords and Sandals V, Grail of Antares. Possibly the first Swords and Sandals, although technically Swords and Sandals Medieval did this as well, but the first to not have Swords and Sandals in the introduction. I just never recorded one for this one. I really liked that sort of slow trumpet introduction. I could never quite get any audio recorded that kind of fit it. And so I just left it out. Swords and Sandals Pirates won't have the singing either, but Swords and Sandals VI, whenever that's made, probably 2019 to 2020, will have a whole new singing chorus, and I'm hoping to actually hire a real chorus of singers to record it professionally. That would be something. Anyway, here we are, Grail of Antares. This is a game that I've talked about at length in previous videos. Probably the one where you can find out a bit more about what this game originally started out as is a video that I will put in the comments below. Look for Swords and Sandals MMO, or Swords and Sandals World, the MMO that never happened. And that's an earlier, it's a video that I've done in my Let's Talk series. Basically, in a nutshell, this game was originally going to be an MMO. And when I say MMO, I mean a really super casual MMO, much like Adventure Quest or even Club Penguin or something like that. But the idea was that you had little gladiators all going around a ludus in real time and interacting with each other, having fights, forming alliances, and just living the life of a gladiator. Unfortunately, it was a little too ambitious, and that project got shelved and turned into the original Swords and Sandals V, which also got shelved in the end when it was so tied to a series of all the inventory in the game was using a database online and so on, and it was very clunky, and the original game required registration to load it up and that kind of thing. It was a painful experience, and eventually when I left the company and everything, basically the game fell to ruin and was unplayable for a number of years. And that's where, of course, eGames came in, my publisher, and did a deal with me to remake, essentially, Swords and Sandals V and Swords and Sandals II, which is what you see before you now. So without much more preamble, let's get into it. Start a new game. On the left, you see Reg the Hammer. On the right, you see Oblique, who is the arena master. Basically similar to Arglax from Swords and Sandals 2, although a little less scary. New gladiator. In this version of the game, I actually ended up making two other game modes. So Gladiator Sprint and Dungeon Crawl, which is sort of short form versions of the game. So you might decide that, hey, I just want to have a quick fight. or I just want to head down to the dungeons for a quick dungeon crawl. And that's what those game modes are for. And I might actually, either in this video or a future video, explore them in more detail. But for now, we're going to play the main game, the Grail Quest. We'll go with normal, that's fine. It's the same narrator as I used from Swords and Sandals 2, a great guy called Roscoe Lewis, who will also be doing the narration for Swords and Sandals Pirates. Hazelnut coffee today. Delicious. We will be Sir Oliver. Mighty Sir Oliver. After many days, you have arrived in the frontier city of Soul's Gateway. You have sought out the Ludus and hope to be trained as a gladiator under the legendary trainer Reg the Hammer. Do you wish to tell the tale of your life thus far? Answering the questions will help determine which character class is best suited to your personality. Or perhaps you already know where you are headed. Now, this was inspired by Ultima. If you've been following the last 2,000 videos of mine where I covered the Ultima series, they always started off with some kind of like moral questionnaire where you were, asked about your virtues and so on. And that's basically the one I wanted to sort of replicate in this game. We're actually going to skip it though because it's a lot of text and we don't really need it. The music for this game was done by the legendary Adrian Galassi, my friend and composer from Brazil. Really, he didn't do all the tracks, but the title track and a few key tracks he put together. And it's just, I love the sort of more epic feel to it. And it's the minor key version of the classic Swords and Sandals theme. You can sort of hear it building up in the background there. All right, also new in Swords and Sandals 5 are classes. So you can be a rogue, a priest, a knight, a warrior, or a wizard. I'm not a real wizard, you know. We will go with warrior because I feel like the warrior is a good class, at least early, so I can show you a bit further into the game. And they have their own starting skills that I think that only these particular classes can do. So the wizard is the only guy that can use the wizard key, and the warrior has extra melee weapon damage. All right, so you have a hometown as well. You can see this map here, which is the same map that I used in Crusader, and I've used in a few other games since. When you click on a character, it tells you a little about their hometown and where that town is. So if you're a fan of the Swords and Sandals lore, you can get a bit of an idea of where everything kind of sits in the game. So Hikaeos is actually from Erengarth, and he's an Edite, and that's way over here in the west. Pilthia, the Cycladians down here, are like a seafaring people who actually came from another planet, and they lost their homeworld and arrived here. We'll find out more about them in Swords and Sandals Pirates, which is coming later this year. I can't wait to show you more of that. I'm loving that game. I'm about sort of maybe 75 to 80% complete building it, and I'm having a great time, and that's always encouraging. If you're enjoying the build process, players will probably enjoy playing the game. We are going to go with boring old Braxian, because it kind of looks like me. I don't love that hair though. Let's go with that one. Give me some stubble. That's kind of close. Nah. What a boring character. This is basically like every character you'll see on the box of Half-Life or whatever. That's good enough. Alright, ready to go. The prologue. Arrival at Soul's Gateway. It is a cool, clear evening. A torch flickers from the high wall above. You huddle in a corner, poor, unknown, and alone in the frozen frontiers of the north, with only a handful of gold and a fiery resolve to keep you warm. Your heroic journey has just begun. Where it ends is up to you. So here we are in Soul's Gateway, which is a town far, far to the north of the island of Doomtrek, where the last game, Swords and Sandals 2, this is basically a direct sequel to it. With Swords and Sandals 3, sort of you venture off into another arena a few years later, but it's a different character and a different arch enemy in the automaton. So this one is more continuing the story where Swords and Sandals 2 left off, with Antares being defeated by the nameless gladiator, and Bargle the wizard helps him, and we don't know it yet, but Antares is somewhere hidden under this mountain, locked away by 5 pieces of a grail, 5 MacGuffins basically, like the Horcruxes or whatever from Harry Potter, that he yearns to have put back together so he may rise again. But you at the moment don't realize this because you're basically just a gladiator. And let's head to the Ludus. Reg the Hammer says, "Warrior, that's right, you, the Braxian. Get over here, I will have a word. I wish to train as a gladiator." I was very inspired by the TV show Spartacus when I was building this. And the original version, the MMO version, was so close to Spartacus look and feel. This is the Stars TV show. And I loved it so much, and I really was kind of inspired by that. But this version lost most of that, but I did still keep the Ludus, the gladiator training school, and a gladiator trainer, much like he's the Doctore, basically, the trainer. So, it's a tutorial battle. You can't lose this. It's you're just basically fighting a training dummy, and so you can just basically get used to the controls, move around a little bit. Don't ask me why he looks quite realistic and our cartoon characters don't. Just because the original avatars characters for this game were done by a friend of mine, Jared Blanthorne, who is a great artist in his own right, and actually did a lot of the art for a game called Grimoire, which is now available on Steam. It's a huge 600-hour Eye of the Beholder style role-playing game made by a very eccentric guy over about 20 years, and Jared did a lot of the art for that, and he's done a lot of the art for this game as well. But his characters didn't really feel like Swords and Sandals characters, and so we replaced them with my characters for the Redux version. Because I know they're cartoony and they're a bit silly, but that's what Swords and Sandals is, and it is kind of iconic. One thing when I was building this game again, I did keep it quite close to the story and everything, and one thing I felt was it kind of lost a little bit of the humor of the early ones. It's quite a serious game and a little too close to a real role-playing game. And I didn't think I'll make that mistake again because I do miss the zaniness of the early Swords and Sandals. And Pirates has some zaniness to it, which is good. I shall return. That's the tutorial, done.
New quest.
So in this game you have quests. First quest is defeat a gladiator. So this game was designed to be played on mobiles, to play on Steam. It actually works in a browser, but Flash no longer is really supported, so I never really released the web version of it. The original game, unfortunately, was shoehorned into a mobile experience, and a lot of people downloaded it on their mobile phones and had an awful experience. It was just terrible, and that was a disaster because it had something like, I don't know, 250,000 plus downloads. But many people couldn't even get past the registration screen because the old company thought it was a great idea to make everyone register for an account before they even played the game. And I fought against that, but I lost that battle, and I feel like we lost a lot of fans because you don't want to have to register before you've even really know what you're registering for. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to. You should give it a taste for the game first. So I made sure that wasn't any of the game here, and there's no online database or anything. It's all basically self-contained system. Anyway, that's one of the big differences in the game. We will now go to the shops, and there's a few shops available for you, similar to Swords and Sandals 2. And if this feels familiar, its interface, it's because it's the exact same game engine as Swords and Sandals 2. I was in fact building them at the same time, and that was a hell of a challenge, I tell you what. That's why the whole thing took a couple of years. Because I started working on this, and then I moved over to Swords and Sandals 2, finished that, and came back and finished this one off. Gattenhoff. Gattenhoff is actually Tom Gattenhoff, who is a very good friend of mine and a colleague at my day job, where I build kids' educational software. And a great guy. And this character drawn by Jared basically looks like Tom, kind of. I don't know, close enough. Tom would decide how close. More of a caricature, really. I try to put my friends in the games wherever I can. You know, I feel like it's a nice little, just a nod to them. So what we see here is some of the things you can get for the dungeon, because this game actually, it has a dungeon system, and that is the first for Swords and Sandals, where you're stepping out of the arena into the larger world. I know Swords and Sandals 4 had the mini games and so on, but this is truly like a larger experience. Oh, there's some light shining on me here. Ah, burning. I might just try and, there we go, adjust the blinds a bit. All right, so we don't need any of this stuff yet. I just wanted to show you it. We can get a room at the tavern if we wish, or we can talk to Tom. Let's have a chat. I'm not going to try and do his voice because I know I couldn't. What ails you? Have you any rooms free? Clever indeed. What's on tap? Okay, that's one to that. Anyway, quick conversation is a good one. What we'll do is we'll visit the armory. Yeah, we'll take the armor. This is a little bonus for people that bought the game on the Steam version. You get a suit of Maximus armor, much like Swords and Sandals 2. Huntley is actually a man called Adam Huntley, who is another good friend of mine. And this caricature looks much closer to Adam, I think, than the Tom one. We don't really need any of this armor because we have already bought it. So we can play a little trivia game if we want. I'm a huge trivia fan. 10 gold. Do you think I'll get the answers to these? I should. I made the game, right? Let's begin. Question 1. What spell did the Emperor Antares use to destroy gladiators who challenged him? Molten Death. Correct. What weapons were gladiators given in the first fight? It was a rusty dagger. Nobody cares about this stuff. I could say that. It's also true. Believe it or not, there is actually a bunch of fans that really, really get into this. There's a Swords and Sandals Discord channel, which if you're interested in, I can also put a link in the comments to that. There's about 80 or so in that Discord channel, and many more just online who love all the trivia and know the answers to these kind of things. And I'm pleasantly surprised by that. The most powerful armor in the realm was the legendary armor, which was actually the name of the most powerful armor in Wonder Boy, which is a nice little trivia fact for you. Question 4. What was the name of arena champion John the Butcher's surprise hit song? Every time you go away, you take a piece of meat with you. I was out at the pub last night with some very good friends. One of the very few times I've been able to go out for a drink since my little son was born. And they said, "Hi, Ollie, your videos are great. We love them. They're hilarious." And one of them said, "Man," this is Ben Leffler, "I'm calling you out on this." He said, "Can you just not sing anymore in these videos?" And I said, "Right, I'm going to sing in the next one, even more. So deal with that." I wish I could sing. It would be fun. I would love to be a singer. What happened to Pigsus upon his death? He was thrown into a pig's cooked and eaten because he was made of a pig. All right. We gained some gold. That was fun. Who knew I had such useless trivia? So night has fallen. That's our first day. That was a great adventure, right? Much like Swords and Sandals 2, you can brave the streets, but if you try it here, you can freeze to death. So we can try it. You were frozen to death. That was dumb. Regrets. I've had a few. Thou hast died. I already said that. We'll test our luck. Really grim scene in the rain. Quite atmospheric though. Let's roll. Damn it! That little... I spoke over it, but there's a little vocal there where the narrator goes, "That was rubbish." He actually said that as part of a long take of audio where he was recording the lines for it, and then he got one wrong, and he said, no, that was rubbish. But I liked it, and I liked it enough to use that little snippet in the game. Alright, we've wasted enough time here, but I still probably should get a weapon quickly from Ironhawk, who is straight out of Avatar. And the reason he looks like this, he's in the Sword and Sandals lore, he's basically from Warmhaven, in the north, but I was a big fan of the movie Avatar back in 2011 or so, and I don't know why, but I made a character like from Avatar, and it's dated quite badly, hasn't it? So there's a tomahawk. We'll unequip the dagger. I don't use the tomahawk. Cool, great. After all that, let's have a fight. Sorry, I've talked a lot, haven't I? I'm ready to fight in the deathmatch. Sir Oliver versus Andre. All these billboards have always been around. Did you know back in the ancient days, I've probably told this in another video, but gladiators actually did endorse products like olive oil or sandals or, real estate and that kind of thing. And they would have big billboards and endorsements up in the Colosseums. Ridley Scott, director of the movie Gladiator, wanted to put this in the movie, but he didn't think people would buy it. They thought it was too unbelievable, so they left it out. Truth is stranger than fiction. Stop napping! So Andre, a bit of a tough cookie. Not that tough. Napping on the job. Now, I bought this Maximus armor, but I'm not wearing it because I'm not powerful enough to wear it. So new to Swords and Sandals V is the ability to thumbs up, thumbs down, spare their life or take their life, like the classic gladiators would. No mercy. One thing that I do lament and I miss from the original Swords and Sandals V was there were some really great death animations. Circular swords would rise up from the floor, or giant anvils or axes or little aliens would burst out of their chest, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, the animation system was different and it just didn't translate well to the new engine, so I had to lose them all. Shame. Gladiator, 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 gladiator. We'll level up. So yeah, you got similar to Swords and Sandals 2 Redux, you have your skill trees. You also have a new one, which is dungeon specific, so you can learn skills like how to cook better, how to disarm traps, or hide in the shadows, or teleport, that kind of thing. We don't need those for now, so we're going to go with the Mighty Smash.
Congratulations. You grow more powerful.
Thank you. Alright, so we now can head back to the Ludus, because we've finished that quest. Have you won a deathmatch? Or have you won a deathmatch at the Battle Pits yet? Indeed I have.
Quest complete.
The original version of this took, I don't know, nearly 2 years to make, because I started it off with the MMO and then changed it many times, and it was a real ordeal, and I was always very disappointed with how it turned out, purely from it just didn't play very well on the various platforms, and so I was determined to make it run well on different devices. It's still quite a complicated game, and I've tried very hard to make it work on desktops and mobiles and everything. It's a challenge. I mean, you let me know if you think I succeeded or not. It's not perfect, but I'm quite proud of Swords and Sandals V after all this, because it's an ambitious game. We got a new quest, and that's basically sending us to the dungeon now. Alright. Oh yeah, before I go there, here's the gladiator keep. Wah! So this guy is like a wolf man, and he is a master builder. He can build a keep for us, which basically becomes like your home. You can sleep there if you wish, and any sort of trophies you win in dungeons become hung up on the wall and that kind of thing. It's purely cosmetic. Originally, I think we were planning on sort of allowing people to spend IA in-app purchase money on it, but it got shelved. There was no need for it. So now that we've contributed to the keep, you will notice that the keep should start. There you go. We've got some scaffolding up. Great. 40% built. That's all we need for now. We'll head off to the dungeons. The Hypogeum.
You have entered the Hypogeum.
The narrator called the Hypogeum, but apples, oranges. And I'll try this amulet. Cool. Some stroke of luck. Into the dungeon. Now that screen there, which I skipped, is a tribute to Ultima Underworld. If you look at the title screen, the box art from Ultima Underworld, they look very similar. It's it's very similar. But that was my little sort of honoring that classic game that I love very much. And I haven't done a video on Ultima Underworld, but I would like to one day. So it's very dark, and the first thing I want to do when we're in the dungeon is use one of the items that we got given by Reg the Hammer. And we have a roast chicken to eat, a lockpick, a bomb, and a couple of torches. So now a lot of people don't do that, and they wander around the dungeon in the dark for a while, and it doesn't end well. You've entered the underhalls of the Hypogeum. Now I'm calling it Hypogeum. Here lie the great craftsmen who labored to build the mighty Colosseum. So it's not real time, it's turn-based. You can move left and right. Every time you move, you get a little bit more tired, you use a bit of your light, and you get hungrier. That's our experience, and that's our battle rage meter. In the original version of this, enemies also moved around the dungeon, but in the Redux they only stand static. And that was actually a performance consideration because there's a lot of pathfinding that I hadn't programmed that well, and I ended up just thinking, you know what, they work fine as they are. Should we drink from the well? Unholy water cursed by witches. Ah, so we now have vampirism, which isn't good. I think we're going to lose health. Ah, in a massive way. Should we look in the mirror? Okay, cool. That was good timing because we lost the vampirism. That is a town portal. We could return to the town, but we're so close to the entrance that we don't need to. That is relight a torch. Cool. We can attack the skeleton. It's a simplified version of Swords and Sandals combat. There's no move backwards and forwards. You have your basic attacks. You can use some skills. The original had more variety to the combat, but it was clunkier, and because it was so clunky, I wasn't able to get that many monsters in the dungeons. There was only like 4 or 5 monsters per level, but in this one you can have 18, 20 monsters sometime. We have to rest because we're a bit tired. There we go, taking down our first dungeon enemy, a skeleton fighter. I actually was a little inspired by a mobile game called, I think it's the Enchanted Cavern. Really nice dungeon crawler, and in that game the enemies don't move, but it doesn't matter because having them move around can be quite annoying. I know a lot of traditional roguelikes do that, but I found that just to be quite a nice casual way of playing the game, and I was really inspired for that. Should we dive in? What do you reckon? Yeah. Sack full of coins, 100 gold, sweet. Okay, we haven't got any... Oh yeah, you have to buy parchment to get a map. Oh, chicken! You can just double click on them if you wish to. Whoa, we leveled up after killing a chicken. So next time we go back to town, we'll be able to level up to level 2. So we could do that now if we wanted, but we might actually keep going down. Oh, we found some treasure. A runestone of vampirism and an amethyst. We'll take the loot. There was loot in the original, but the loot is better in this one because you can get armor and weapons and different things. We now descend into level 2 of the Underhalls. And our torch is still quite bright, but we are getting a little tired. You don't want to fall asleep in a dungeon because you can either get eaten or... I mean, you can roll down a camp if you wish, but... Oh, there's another skeleton and a bat. But, thieves will rob you, all sorts of... because it's a roguelite, essentially. Roguelike. There are a lot of random things that can happen. Let's use one of our powers on this bat, because he's causing some trouble. Got him, good. Oh, wow, he survived that. He had armor, I think. Yeah, I know they shouldn't have armor, but it's a game. I mean, it's a nonsense game. We've actually already leveled up, so it's probably a bit pointless for me to... Should we rest? Let's go camping. Without flint and kindling... Oh, we can't make camp. This isn't good. Oh, okay, we found a trap here. If you don't pay attention, you can fall on traps. Let's try and disarm it. Oh, 21 physical damage. Disappointing. But we can walk past. So our quest here was... I actually don't remember. Let's see. Tunnel rats. We have to kill 3 rats. Always rats. Rats and bats. Hate the bats. Oh. If you've seen my videos, you know that I hate bats in video games. Although these ones aren't so bad because they don't have that random sort of oscillating sine wave movement. Yeah, down more. So the dungeon crawling is a huge part of Swords and Sandals V, and not everyone was happy with that because it's different from the fighting. But I did still try to keep the fighting. We relight the torch in the game, and it's a pattern of basically you do a quest in the dungeon, you go up, you fight some battles, you do a few more quests in the dungeon, and then you can fight one of the arena bosses. But what's new about Swords and Sandals V Redux's arena bosses is they're actually animals and monsters for the first time. Giant dragons and giant bulls. I think there is a beholder. He's not called a beholder, but basically is. Okay, should we sit on this chair? I gotta stop fighting those monsters that aren't rats. Got some treasure, great. Because the rats are what we're looking for. It's getting dark. Let's use the torch again. That's better. I had to iterate on this game so many times just to get this sort of movement feeling natural. And oh, we're getting hungry. Let's eat something. Pineapple. Quick snack. Didn't really do a lot for us. That's not great. We're gonna be running out of food soon. There's a rat. How many rats have we killed? 2 out of 3. This is, you know, all these great quests. And this is almost like, I was kind of like, in Australia we have an expression, taking the piss. You know, basically mocking the whole, the quest of, you know, all great adventures start off with killing 10 rats or something, you know. So why not ours? We're actually having hunger pains. Look at our health go down. We really need to find a rat. I don't know if you can eat the rats. I can't remember. Oh! Oh, he just got killed. Just ran into him. That's fine. We wanted to go back to town anyway. We can level up now as well. See down here? I've died 2 times, so 2 little skulls appear. You end up with a whole graveyard's worth of skulls if you're not a great player like me. Hey, natural 20. Not today, Death. Natural 20. Natural 20 is it's a term from D&D really, where you roll the 20. Level up. We shall agility and attack. Yeah. Let's get ourselves a long-range magic weapon. Magic missile. That'll do. Have we killed those? So Scotia Sporslari is based on a friend of mine called Scott Bosley, who was a good friend of mine for many years, and we travelled Europe together when we were in our early 20s. So I snuck him into the game. Let's go to the shops, buy ourselves some food, because we're going to need some food. There we go. We got plenty of gold. Let's get let's splurge. A couple of roast chickens, some Guntarian beer, which I think can make you drunk if you're not careful. And where are the torches? Flint and kindling we can use. Lockpick, definitely. Keys are always useful. Lantern oil is good. I don't know if we have a lantern though. Is there a lantern? Fun fact. Oh, yeah, we'll spend some time at the tavern. You dream of birds. Hearty breakfast of pears and wine syrup. Yeah, fun fact. I did put a slot for rings in this game, but I don't think I put any rings in there. I can't remember. Actually, no, I think that's incorrect. There are rings, but you can't buy them. You have to dig up little squares in the dungeons to find them, and almost no one ever found them. Runestones are cool, though. We can etch rune. And these basically give you resistances to various abilities. Because the original Swords and Sandals 2 allowed you to craft weapons, but I ran out of time to do that, so I put the runes in as a simple kind of nod to that. Can we get ourselves a better weapon? I feel like we should. What do you reckon? Weapon.
Ironhawk, weaponsmith.
Hatchet? Well, no, we actually can't find a better weapon than that. Okay, shall we have a battle just for fun before we go back down? Ready to fight. Baron Snyest, the athletic Guntarian rogue. Heading to the dungeon, take a torch. This guy in the background, I've forgotten his name, but he is not seen in the game, but you find him in the dungeon crawl mode, where you basically, hardcore mode, 1 life only, you descend through the dungeons, as soon as you die it's all over. Every 3 or 4 levels you can go to his shop in the dungeon. He was originally in this game running like a dungeon shop, but I felt like there were too many shopkeepers, so I removed him. I removed the church lady. I think she's now running the boss battles. But there were too many shops, and it was getting annoying, so I just consolidated a few of them. Like the tavern now sells dungeon items and that kind of thing. This guy's, oh, he's got battle edge. He's kind of tough. But not that tough. Chop these head off. What a fun children's game. Alright, back to the dungeons to find that pesky rat. Yeah, so this is the screen I was talking about, the Ultimate Underworld screen. Jared did a great job on this one. I love it. It's very atmospheric. We'll return to level 1. See if we can find ourselves a rat. Yeah, this was a challenging game for me to build. I had started a full-time job and I was working on this at nights and weekends. The old code for the Swords and Sandals V was so messy that I pretty much had to redo almost all of it from scratch. It was just incredibly more difficult than I had ever intended, and if in hindsight I probably shouldn't have made this version again, but I felt like it would have been a shame if it was never able to be played, and so it's like Swords and Sandals 4, I can't make that again, it's too hard. Whoa, look at my face there, it's all there we go, let's get rid of more. It's getting darker. Use the steps. So we have now completed the quest. We can head back to our Rage, the hammer. Alright, so here we are, back at Ludus. Here we are, all dead. Good stuff. Alright, put him somewhere else. Don't need to see rat corpses parade in front of me like some cockery hero. You were the one that asked me to do that, sir. You were the one. Another quest. A potion. Straumanus the Alchemist, based on a friend of mine. Well, a friend, former colleague. I don't really know him at all anymore. A guy called David Strauman, who I worked with. Nice guy, though. Yes, so, some critters. Ultimate fetch quest. Ectoplasm, bat guano, and chicken feathers. So it's back to the dungeon for us. I think, in hindsight, this game probably favors the dungeons a little too heavily, and I probably should have brought in some arena champion fights a little earlier, because some people don't even stick around to get to that point. Leap of Lions, look at that. But that's hindsight, you can only know these things, in the end. Takes a long time to build systems. I mean, Swords and Sandals Pirates, for example, I've iterated on that many times. And when I say iterated, I've made many different versions of it, trying out one thing or another. I've built entire food systems and cargo systems and real-time combat and all different stuff in that game that I've ended up taking out just because, it just wasn't working. And what can be a perfectly good idea on paper doesn't always translate, So we have to kill some foozle beasts. Whenever I refer to a kill foozle quest, it's basically, go get rat entrails, and there we go, bat guano and bat wing, that's good, we need those. Warcraft is much better than it used to be, but the original World of Warcraft was a bandit for giving you just pointless quests. We didn't get a chicken feather? I want a chicken feather. 1 bat guano, we need kill some skeletons for ectoplasm, and we need 2 chicken feathers. Shame we didn't get one from that chicken. So we're evil, this will heal us. Oh, what? I thought, oh, what? No, we're good. I thought we were evil because we killed that guy. Ah, now we're taking mass damage. Alright, we survived though. Relight the torch. Should we drink from the well? Ah, poisoned! In a roguelike, anything can and will happen to you, as we're about to see. Oh no, I survived. Lucky. But I'm bitterly injured. And I might not survive this battle. Hey, we did. That's good, because we need the ectoplasm. We can kill this other guy as well. Oh! Do we have anything? We got a healing potion, but I was saving that. I want to save that for the boss battle. The champion battle. See if we can use a warfare skill. Mighty Smash. Bam. The skellies are a bit weak early on. Monsters get much bigger than that, though. You end up fighting vast beasts, which are, tower above you. There's probably about 100 or more different monsters in this game that all look different. And I went out of my way to put some interesting beasts in there. No, nothing in there. What do we need? I thought we got the ectoplasm. Sometimes it doesn't do a great job of keeping track on the things you collected. Because we have the ectoplasm. We have one back guano. We don't have the chicken feather. We'll find the chicken feather and then we'll reevaluate. Oh, disarm the trap. Ah! Rogues are good for that. Different kinds of characters for different skills. So we'll find the exit to level 2. I just turned on my light there. Gives me a strange orange glow. Which means I can probably put that up again. Yeah, there we go. It's all about the lighting, the ambience, if you will, when you're playing a game. You don't want to strain your eyes too much. Anyway, that's fascinating. That's what you come to Ollie Plays for, right? The inane banter. I kind of try to describe this video channel as basically you and me hanging out. We're playing a game together, and I'm just sort of, you know, shooting the breeze. I don't ever want this channel to feel really professional or polished or feel like it's written from a script or anything, because there's a lot of channels out like that are like that, and I want you to see the real me, and you know, I want you to feel like you're getting to know me in my own mind when you're playing these games, because I've been doing game design for many years, and I want to kind of share some of that knowledge, and you know, try and share a little bit of who I am with, you know, whoever is interested. So, you know, and I think if you're ever doing something like this, my advice would be yourself. You know, don't try to emulate idiots like PewDiePie or whoever else, because A, you don't want to, because they're idiots, and B, you're not going to be able to do it justice. You'll just always seem like a pale imitation. So, you know, be yourself in all things. Okay, what do we got? I feel like, oh, it's just the chicken feathers. Damn it. I could even buy chicken feathers, maybe. I can't remember. It's annoying. These fetch quests, I don't, you know, one of those things that when I was building it, it's like I'll put them in the game, but playing it back can be very frustrating because you're walking around just trying to find something that may or may not be there. I did put in the code to make sure that there was the monsters required to complete every quest. Oh, hey, another gladiator. You don't see that often. An adventurer here called Amy, which is a very fantasy name, isn't it? Sorry, Amy, it's all over. Ah, it is all over for us. Well, taken out by the coup de grace. She was a knight. And that's their special ability, is the coup de grace. The sun has just started to set. Another skull in the pile. Resurrect. 19, we're getting some good rolls. Which means if you roll low, you lose stats. Some people wouldn't love that, but you know, there's got to be some kind of penalty for death. A little stamina, a little vitality. We need to get a bit tougher. Barbarian Storm. I use that a lot, so level it up. Aurora Borealis, or Aurora Australis if you're from the southern hemisphere like myself. Northern Lights, Southern Lights, really cool. Yeah, I'll stay in the tavern. You dream of tacos, great. And we have a breakfast of beef marrow fritters. I said in a previous video where I got most of those recipes from, and they're actually from a lot of medieval cookbooks and things, and articles I found online about medieval style foods. And some of them are even from one of the George R.R. Martin Game of Thrones books. It might be the one where it's the feast, Joffrey's feast. And he had about 4 or 5 pages where he just talked about food. So I got it from that. Can we wear this armor yet? Because I'm getting a little annoyed going around without any armor, and I'm getting beaten up a lot. Check it out. Maximus helm. Yes. Oh, we could have used it at level 2. I don't know why I was not using it. So we can equip that. Swords and Sandals 2 and Swords and Sandals V Redux were the first of these games. No, actually no. I tell a lie. Compared to the old Swords and Sandals 2, where you could only wear 1 armor at a time. These new ones you can wear many sets of armor, but Swords and Sandals 3 also had that. we now have armor. And can we turn that quest in? Your fellow gladiators grow weaker by the hour. Yeah. Alright, let's find this chicken feather and be done with him. Alright, I'm looking for a chicken feather wherever I can find it. Now I've cleared out a lot. There's a bat hidden behind a boulder. I'll show you what the bombs do actually, because we're not going to probably experience that much more. Cool. You can blow up boulders and get to new areas like that. And often you find sort of... we found a copper nugget in the rubble there. What's down this new passage? That was actually blocking our entrance, which is good. I'm glad I did that, because I didn't pay attention before. I should buy some map parchment so I can map the dungeon. The original Swords and Sandals V, you didn't need to do that, but... And it also had ranged attacks, so I could actually attack something over there or up there or something. But when I remade it, there were many changes, and not all of it made it in the game. And in the end, it didn't matter. It didn't mean I was going to sell more or less copies. It's essentially the same game in spirit. Let's keep going down, although we can head back to town soon. Actually, no, let's go back to town now. Oh no, I don't have a town portal. Which means I'll either have to die or... Hey, a shrine. Pray. Oh no! That was an evil shrine. You know. Whoa, we got smashed. Smashed by the vampirism. Vampirism will knock you around. Dive into the pool. An eel. Fun fact, I used to work with a guy who had eel for lunch many days. Great guy, real big personality. I'm assuming. All I knew about him was that he loved eating eels. Loved his eels. Very stinky lunch. Yeah, exactly. I actually did some of the sound effects for the gladiator voices, not all of them, but Roscoe Lewis, the narrator, did these ones, but I did some of the enemy ones, so sometimes you hear this, that's me. We want to get out of here, but I'm going to keep descending, so when we come back, we can portal back to the level 4, because we're actually going to want to fight, if we defeat the arena champion, we will want to get to the Sentinel, the Dungeon Sentinel, because the idea of this game, there are 20 levels per dungeon, and every 5 levels there's like a large sort of armored sentinel that you have to defeat, and at the very bottom of each dungeon is a dungeon guardian that you have to take down, and they're quite scary. They do not mess around. There are 4 dungeons in all. There was a 5th plan, and you can see on the overland map when we go back there. Few steps. Okay, it's blocked by invisible wards. Defeat the next arena champion to progress further. Cool. I really want to find a town portal so I can get out of here. Let's keep fighting. But yeah, you can see in the overland map there's a castle on a lake, and that was where the 5th dungeon was planned, but it never ended up happening. I'm gonna flee from Sparkles Francis the Gladiator. Looks like a Cycladian, because I actually want... It's a clunky way to do it, but I want to get back to town quickly. And I'm prepared to take the death penalty. I mean, not the real death penalty, but the penalty for dying. Choose your words carefully, Sir Oliver, for they may be your last. He's struggling to kill us. He's useless, because he's tired, isn't he? Rest. Rest. If I defeat him... Come on! I'm giving you every shot. When you rest, it's a free hit for the enemy, but if he's tired and resting because he's got no energy... There you go. Idiot. Who programmed the AI in this game? What fool? It was me, of course. Hey, cool. Yeah, so I'll try this amulet gives you better luck. That's what that does. I've forgotten that. So that's why we only need to roll a 5. Normally you need to roll a 10 to stay alive. Miraculous. My skin looks orange if I press this. I got a little bit blue. While we're here, I'll show you something. Change that to that color. This is not my bedroom, although it has a keyboard there. Actually, hang on. We'll go back to this. This is a little kind of... Whoa, it's so close, but that's my shelf. I've got the Millennium Falcon. Some little Luke and Darth. Down there we have He-Man and Skeletor and Optimus Prime. He's pretty cool. And Skywarp, the Transformer. And, you know, some books down there. And up top, we have the Black Pearl. A ship from the Pirates of the Caribbean. This is not, in fact, my room. It's just a room in the house. It's my home office, really. Although I did, in fact, sleep in this room last night because I came home late and didn't want to disturb anyone. And that bed here, surprisingly comfortable. Alright, there you go. You learn a little bit more about me and my amazing, interesting life. But this is not, as some people have asked, my bedroom. Alright, back to the main quest. Which we're going to wrap this up soon, actually. We're going to fight the arena champion and then we'll call it a day. Agility. Yeah, I'll get a bit faster. And... Mighty Smash again? Yeah, sure. Indeed I do. Back to the Ludus to turn in the quest. Sometimes you'll see me looking over here and sometimes here because I've got two screens and the game is playing on both screens, so sometimes I kind of forget which screen to look at. Very professional. Yeah, cool. So we're now ready to face the arena champion, Aergus the Deathwielder. Now this champion may sound a little generic, and he looks a little generic, but he was actually... there was a fan competition which we ran where we got fans to send in an arena champion that they wanted. And I don't know why, but this kid won. He had a cool backstory for the guy and everything. And but this is before we decided we were going to put beasts and so on in the game. So they're all human characters. We got a bunch of entries. We got, I don't know, maybe 50 entries. Not huge amount, but enough to have a little fan competition. And this kid won, and so his character made it into the game. Into the Colosseum we go. Xylophor. Oh, okay, so we got one more fight. So she was originally ran the church, and there was a church which could heal and remove ailments, and if you were evil you could become good and that kind of thing, but it ended up being a little superfluous to the game. I didn't really feel like it was necessary, so ended up removing it. Nina Swiftblast. The Swiftly Dispatcher. Oh, she dodged our Whirlwind. That's a special fighter attack that others can't use. And it's a low chance, but it's 33% chance of ending the fight in one hit, which is very cool. 1 in 3 odds. But it's got a very long cooldown, I believe. That's something like, yeah, 43 turns. Jump! Of course, the Maximus armor may be familiar to many people because it's in fact based on Maximus Decimus Meridius, the general of the Felix Legions and commander of the armies of the North. And I will have my vengeance in this life for the next. Based on the character from Gladiator, the movie. Which was a huge inspiration on me, and I've seen it many times, and the entire Swords and Sandals series would not have existed without the movie Gladiator. Oh. Oh, no, I don't want to lose this fight. Oh, she's got Battle Rage. Oh, no, I've got Battle Rage. Great, this could do it for us. Don't rest. Oh, fool. Ah. Swift Blast indeed. She got me with a Swift Fireball. She spared our life. Oat bread with bits of date. Ugh, date. I want to get a new weapon because I feel like we need a new weapon. been too long with that rubbish weapon. Dirk plus 10. Hatchet plus 17. Machete. Oh, mallet. Where was machete? Oh, it's not there yet. Sickle plus 16. Probably the mallet's our best bet. But we can't. Oh, we can't use it yet. So we're gonna go with the hatchet. Oh, next level as well. The gladius. Yeah, we can use that. That's a nice. That's an actual. That's the Roman gladiator sword too. Gladius. Traditionally, usually made of wood, but we made a steel one. We can enchant that, I think. Alchemist. Have you been here? Oh yeah, Stramanus the Alchemist. Cool. So we can enchant this weapon. I'm going to do it. This should help us. And that's where we can buy a torch. I forgot where the torches were kept. So he also sells magic maps, town portal scrolls, which could be useful, but we don't have enough money for it. A key that unlocks everything. Some nice kind of trinkets. That down there is the island that was going to be the 5th dungeon that we never ended up making. And up here, which you can't really see behind the name panel, is an entrance to what was going to be the basically either the sequel or some downloadable content, which never ended up getting made. No, I don't want to go Hypogeum. 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 Stop saying it. Stop saying that! Alright, I'm ready to fight one more gladiator. Give me an easy one. I want to get to the boss. Shywar Gatanoff. Ah, this is a brother of Sir Thomas Gatanoff, is he? Well, brother or no brother, you're going down, sir. Or not. It's a very handsome moustache you have there. Very flamboyant outfit too. Yeah, so already our weapon is doing wildly more damage. We're going to try the whirlwind on him. Oh, we're not quite close enough yet. Leap of Lions is powerful. Are we close enough for that? Yeah, but we don't have the magic yet. So, do I have a... No, I haven't got a... I haven't really prepared for these fights, have I? Oh, Battle Rage, but I lost it. So fleeting. Now, we can... That's always going to be that, but we can use a... beast of a hit. Huge. We're starting to do some big damage now. No mercy. We'll never fight again. Alright, we can go to the Colosseum. What I'm going to do quickly is buy ourselves some healing potions. Because we're going to need them. We're going to get 3 of them. And 2 essence potions. Because I should get a 3rd one. 4th one. We spend a lot of money. Because these fights can be tough. These arena battles. And you don't want to mess around. I'm ready to do battle. Real epic music from sort of Castlevania or something. This was some freeware music that I found. I can't remember who it's by, but these names in the credits of the game. But it replaces the sort of heavy metal death theme from Swords and Sandals 2. Some people prefer that. I like them both. You know, they're both different. Aergus was a child prodigy who became an arena champion at 13 years of age at a tournament far away Pilthia. Infuriated by the precocious upstart's success, tournament leaders sent assassins to murder him, but his father stepped in, saving the boy at the cost of his life. Vowing revenge, he took up his father's Deathwielder armor set and powerful axe and slew them all. Wandering the lands alone, driven only by a lust for blood and a great sorrow, he found himself in Soul's Gateway, undefeated, alone, and increasingly bitter. Kind of sounds a little bit like Conan's story now that I hear it. Right, let's check ourselves. So we have where our power score is higher than that. That's basically an aggregate of all your stats. We're stronger. We have better attack. He's got more magic. He's more charismatic. Charisma doesn't do much in this game. It was a bit of a balked stat, a bit of a useless stat. He's got more stamina with us, but he's also got more armor than us. I think we'll probably beat him, but we'll see because they do hit hard. We'll taunt. He's scared. Don't be afraid. It's weak. One of the disappointing things about Swords and Sandals V Redux compared to Swords and Sandals V Original was the animations were actually a lot nicer in the original. And you can find videos of it that other people have done. They're still floating around online of Swords and Sandals V Classic. And the arena champions have a lot more fluent sort of attacks and movements and that kind of thing. Unfortunately, because the new engine had a very different animation system, I had to use keyframes. I only had a limited amount of frames I could use, and so the animations are very stiff and stilted. And it's probably my biggest regret of the game, that the bosses don't really move as well as they could. Big hit. Epic music. He's got some magic spells. Oh, he's hitting us. Let's try a missile. Right, we're low on health. Oh, no, low on essence. Good. Let's use one of our skills. What do you reckon? That one's really powerful. I forgot what it's called, but... Alright, we've nearly got his armor down. The bosses actually get way bigger. If you can see my mouse cursor, they get all the way as big as kind of up top of the screen. Some of the more, there's a giant ogre and that kind of thing that's vast. Kurg the Flatulent, I believe he's called. A couple more hits, we got it. We won't even need our healing potions. We can only use these potions when we're out of combat range, but I'm going to try and strike while we have him down. What I want to do... I think this is going to get him. Wasn't so bad. I did add a hard mode to this game, and an Iron Man mode where you only get one life, because a lot of people said that the arena bosses were a little too easy. But it's hard. It's hard to balance them. Alright, and next up we're going to hear a new song, which I recorded specifically for this game. You just won the tournament. Ah, yeah, I love that song. It's so bad. So terrible. Okay. Alright, Peace and Death. Aergus, Hypogeum. Aergus collapses to his knees. Beneath his massive horned helm, you see his eyes welling up with tears. Thank you. You were a worthy foe. Of all who I faced, finally one who could best me. Now I can be with my father in the halls of eternity. Well done. You have defeated the first arena champion. So that's the end of Act 1, Chapter 1. And there are 5 acts in this game. And 4 or 5 chapters. So it's a big game. This game, I played it through from start to finish. And I think it took me, 15 or 16 hours to beat. I don't know if people can beat it a lot quicker than that. But I was, very proud of myself because that's the first, the biggest game I had ever made. And a game that you could sit there and play for 2 straight days. It's always, it's an achievement. I think it's one of those things as a game developer, you want games to feel like they're, have some longevity and something that tell people a story and take people on a bit of an adventure. And for me, this is quite a big story, and there's a lot of text and dialogue in that game, and it was exhausting to write. And so I was glad that the game played out as well as it did. 16 hours of content with some grinding, admittedly, but a big game. And there's dungeons up here and here and here, and many characters to meet. You meet here Chaos and Sir Belgrave, and of course Antares and so on. We're gonna go now down to, let's see what he has to say. We turn in the quest. We now go to level 6. So to do that, we'll fight the Dungeon Sentinel. Cake party, cool. So we're gonna find some beers. Some strength and tech. I tend to do min-max builds, always build up the same few stats. And strategy tends to work well early on anyway. Night in the tavern. You dream of pugs. Aww. Fish tarts and lemon in the morning. I guess it is a cold, wintry morning here at Souls. I quite like the weather effects in this game. They're simple but effective. And we go down now to the Hypogeum. Hypogeum. We're going to portal all the way down to level 4. Save us a bit of time. And then we can fight the next, the first dungeon sentinel, who will be hanging around. We don't need to fight all these kind of critters. They're a bit useless. A port cast. So we've got to find, there is a lever somewhere around here. Oi, chicken. Don't test my patience. Push the lever. Back we go. Alright. So if this character seems familiar to you, the sprite is actually from Swords and Sandals Crusader. And I believe they were called like the Dusk Harlequin, I think. I can't remember what they're called in this game, but each sentinel has a different name, I believe. As soon as we attack, the battle will begin. I can walk past them, and they won't move. I can try and unlock... We're beholden to the room. So we can't leave this room until we defeat them. Ready? Let's do this! Hypogeum Sentinel. These are basically kind of like Lich Lords. Use item. We want to get their essence back up, so we're going to use a large essence potion. These guys are actually tougher, I think, than some of the arena bosses. Their scale and difficulty. Oh, blocked. They've got some powerful magic as well, and I'm not really geared to defend against the magic. I don't have much in the way of lightning resistance and so on. So we're actually struggling a little bit. Our attacks aren't hitting. Our weapon is a bit weak. Oh, healing potion. Ah. Another healing potion. Chugging them. But they are hitting me hard. Battle is pitched. We got him. Turn back. You are warned. These guys are actually trying to protect the Grail from being discovered because they don't want the evil Emperor Antares to be brought back to life. Nobody wants it. So inadvertently, you're actually, you know, weakening the defenses. You don't know it yet, but the dungeon guardians in this game are not evil. There you go. So we defeated them. We got a ton of gold. We can go downstairs now. And the next quest, of course, is to oh, I had a pineapple. Have a beer. Get some frost resistance, warms you up. Sometimes you get drunk. Oh, giant spiders. The second arena champion is actually a massive spider called Incy Wincy. Oh, these guys are tough. Rest. Alright. It's over. Giant huntsman spiders. In real life, huntsmans aren't poisonous and they actually help around the house. Not these guys. Well, we are going to leave Swords and Sandals V Redux there. It's been a fun playthrough. I've enjoyed it. And I'm going to do another one of these Swords and Sandals V videos in the future and do a quick run of the Gladiator Sprint and Dungeon Crawl mode because there's a little bit more to show you. What did you think of Swords and Sandals V Redux? Was it worth the wait? Was it better than the original if you played the original? Did you prefer the arena stuff to the dungeon stuff? I can say categorically that this was a tough game to build the first time round and very tough to build the second time round because it was a mess of many different code bases and it was a real challenge. And I had some just mixed feelings about working with the old code from the old company, and I just wanted to move on. But in the end, I'm proud and pleased with the result, and it for one person, I think it's a big and fun game. I can tell you now that Swords and Sandals VI, which hasn't even been started yet, but it will be out in hopefully 2019 or 2020 at the latest, will be a arena game. 100%. It's going to be multiplayer and it's going to be set in an arena. It'll be a pure Swords and Sandals experience, because I know the last ones like Pirates and this one and Tavern Quests and so on haven't been that, and they're cool, and it is nice to branch out from the Swords and Sandals into the Swords and Sandals world, but most people have come to this game because they like arena fighting, and I did get away from that a little bit, and I want to get back to that and really make the best gladiator game in the world, because I think I can do it, and with your help I'll be able to. So in the coming months and year, I'm going to be asking more and more questions about what you want to see in a gladiator game. For now, leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought of the video and what you thought of the new intro video as well. Don't forget that. I'll leave it there. Have a great weekend. G'day to new subscribers, and thanks again to all my current ones, and see you again real soon. Bye for now.